All right. I didn't know how to turn that off slowly. You know, you want that long, slow fade out on that kind of thing. Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys a couple little thoughts here. Welcome in today. Yeah, I was just looking through a couple little basic ideas here in the key of G. And you know, we recently had a live stream that you guys, some of you joined last Friday. That was so fun. Had a lot of good questions, a lot of fun hanging out and seeing where you guys were tuning in from. Super cool for me. So thanks for those of you who tuned in. And then recently I opened up some spots for some one-on-one lessons, coaching. So if you guys are interested in that, a few of you have reached out and we even have kind of started lining up some of those on the schedule. So this is really exciting for me, really exciting. And I've enjoyed get to know some of you guys that way. So that's Daniel at danielcarsonguitar.com. If you're interested in setting up like a one-on-one video call like this, it would look just like this. And we could talk through anything you're frustrated with in your playing or your sounds or anything you want to walk through or talk through. Super fun for me. And I really enjoy doing that. So Daniel at danielcarsonguitar.com is the email if you want to reach out for that. All right, commercial out of the way. I wanted to show you this quick little concept. So if you're in the key of G, you can get through, you can do this in other keys, but just for today, we're doing G. You can get through some concepts, some of these chord shapes with just a couple of notes. And it's like a cool, kind of gives you like an instantly like vibey sound to your guitar. So instead of playing, like for example, instead of playing like the full E minor, right? I was literally just taking the E and the G from that chord. Or you could play it down here, right? I'm just playing like a 2-note chord, and all I did was play the same top string over all those chords. So it's like, that's your E minor, and then your C, your G, and then back to your D. You could even go if you wanted to get that little extra thing. But sometimes having that root note hang over your 5 chord, your D, is a cool sound. So all I did was add a little bit of like verb and a little bit of like vibrato. And you have a real simple part, but it sounds like its own vibe. All right. So you're just playing one string at a time. This is not complicated stuff. Anybody I think anyone could learn this pretty quickly, as long as you start to develop a little bit of your fret knowledge and learning, where some of your chords are. You could quickly develop some hooks and some guitar parts that you can fall into pretty quickly with just a little bit of like a little trick like that. And then so that's how I was getting through my chord progression. So that was like E minor, which that's part of my E minor chord, down to C. We all know this chord, right? And then up to G. I was playing this. You ever play this chord? And then up to here. So like that's your G chord, D, and C. So it's that same shape. Did you know you could move that around? And then up to here. Okay? So I'm using that G chord there, and then down to the D. Back to this chord. Right? So E minor, C, G, back to D. So I've got just a little vibrato and a little bit of reverb. And if you don't have a vibrato pedal, you could make this cool with just verb. Right? So it's a real simple part, and if you can play the A string on itself by itself, and you can play the G string by itself, and you learn how to kind of get that back and forth feel going, you could create guitar parts for days. You could move this all up and down them. You could start adding in the G. So something to play around with. You can mess around with that. Get a lot of work done right there. Okay, so once I started playing that chord progression, I started instantly kind of hearing like a little lead line that would float over that. And so for me, I picked the B string because that's a great spot to start out finding like a guitar part to play. So I start with the 3. Now the reason I'm starting with the 3, so that's the note is B. That's part of my E minor chord, right? So like this, right? I'm choosing that that B, which is also in your open E minor. Here we go, like this. Right? And I'm just playing it up an octave, which is the 3 in the key. So for those of you that have maybe know some of the number system stuff, this might help, but it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. And then you could keep going. 6, 7. All right, so. Right? So that's what I mean by 3. That's 1, 2, 3 in our major scale. So what I like about the 3 is the 3 will sound nice over a minor a lot of the time, over that E minor. A lot of times that, or even the 1 chord, that 3 gives you like a little bit of tension. And then when you get to the 4 chord, having that hanging out over there just kind of adds this extra layer of tension because you're not moving off the guitar part. So play around with that. I always love to find a guitar part that I can play over and over the same progression. And it gives it kind of has a new character and a new personality over each chord. So over the minor, so our part was 2, 3, 4, 1. So part of what I love about that, it's a simple guitar part, anyone can play. But what's nice about it is if you can find parts that fit over chords that make something sound interesting, maybe the part's simple, but over the 4 chord, all of a sudden it sounds more interesting than it did over the minor. So if you just kind of keep that pattern going, all of a sudden it sounds like a vibe. And then You could change it. I think by the end I was maybe doing like, you know, you might want to add that, maybe that last time. Usually when you're playing a pattern, play around with that, the very last time that you would play it in the phrase, maybe change it up. Or maybe you just want to play it the same all the way through. Yeah, I just wanted to show you a quick little idea for a way to play a simple pattern over a chord progression, and maybe a different way to play a chord progression that's not like the full chords. You could play just a couple little 2-note chords and get a lot of work done that way. Right? So you can get all that work done just with that little, just with those little notes. And once again, that 3, I love that trick over the minor because it works over the 1, it works over the minor, and sometimes it works over the 4 as well. It depends on the song. But yeah, it's something to play with, play around with that idea. Yeah, just a simple, just like simple little, you know, 8th note delay, a little bit of reverb, maybe a little mod or something in the effects, and you've got kind of an instant vibey part and a very simple concept in the key of G. All right. Well, thanks for watching, and thanks for all the comments and questions recently, and thanks for tuning in. You guys are the best. We'll talk soon. All right. See ya.